Tonight, you are about to enter one of the oldest civilizations humanity has ever known. Not the Egypt of giant pyramids and shining treasure, not the Egypt from adventure movies, but the real Egypt, a place filled with dust, heat, insects, crowded streets, and endless survival. As the night grows quieter around you, imagine the world slowly changing. Modern cities disappear. Electric lights fade away. Roads become dirt paths. The sound of engines vanishes and replaced by wind, sandals scraping stone. Distant voices and the soft movement of the Nile River. You now stand somewhere around 1300 BCE, more than 3,000 years in the past. Ahead of you is an Egyptian city. At first glance, it almost seems peaceful. Mud brick homes glow softly beneath the evening sun. Palm trees sway gently in the hot wind. Small fishing boats drift across the dark green water. But as you walk closer, you begin noticing the reality of life here. The smell arrives first. A mixture of river mud, cooking fires, sweat, animals, fish, and human waste baking beneath the heat. Ancient cities were not clean places, especially not during summer. Flies buzz constantly. Dogs wander through narrow streets searching for scraps. Goats bleat in the distance. Children run barefoot through the dust. And above everything else rise the enormous temples of the gods. In ancient Egypt, religion was not separate from daily life. Religion was daily life. The gods watched everything: the river, the harvest, the weather, birth, death. Every person living here believed invisible powers surrounded them constantly. A bad flood could destroy communities. A failed harvest meant starvation. A sickness could spread quickly. And so the people prayed. As you approach the city gates, the guards barely notice you. Travelers arrive often along the Nile. Merchants, farmers, laborers, priests. The guards carry simple spears and wear light linen clothing. Heavy armor would be unbearable beneath the Egyptian sun. Near sunset, the air still feels warm. The Nile nearby moves silently. Without this river, none of this civilization could exist. Each year, the Nile floods. The water leaves behind dark, fertile soil. This black soil was so important that Egyptians named their land Kemet, the Black Land. Beyond the fertile riverbanks, endless desert waited in every direction, a harsh, golden wilderness, beautiful but deadly. The desert represented chaos, danger, death. But the Nile was life itself. Egyptian cities always clung closely to its banks. You continue walking deeper into the streets. The roads are narrow. Most homes are built from sun-dried mud bricks. Stone was expensive and reserved for temples and tombs. Ordinary people lived simple lives. A typical home might contain only a few rooms. The floors are rough. The walls trap heat. Inside, it smells of smoke from cooking fires. Furniture is limited to a stool or a table. Most people owned very little. And yet, life continued with remarkable energy. Women grind grain, men repair fishing nets, workers unload goods from boats. Some merchants sell vegetables, others sell beer. Beer was incredibly important, consumed daily by all. Even workers received beer as payment. You pass a bakery where warm bread cools. Bread and beer formed the foundation of Egyptian life. Meat was rare for the poor. Fish was common. Vegetables like onions and garlic appeared frequently. Dates and figs offered sweetness. But life was far from luxurious. Most people worked constantly. Farming, building, cooking, surviving. The hot climate made everything harder. Workers covered their shaved heads with linen to avoid the brutal sun. Many shaved their heads for cleanliness and to avoid lice. Wigs were common among wealthier citizens. Carefully styled black wigs became symbols of status and beauty, As evening approaches, shadows stretch, the worst heat fades. People move more comfortably, conversations grow louder. Families gather on rooftops for cooler air. Homes lacked windows on lower floors to keep out heat. Rooftops became living spaces. The sky above ancient Egypt is astonishingly clear. Without pollution, thousands of stars burn brightly. The heavens held enormous meaning. Priests observed stars to organize ceremonies. To ordinary citizens, the night sky felt alive with divine power. And yet nights could feel frightening. Darkness was dangerous. Without streetlights, areas became black after sunset. Oil lamps provided only faint pools of light. Criminals, wild animals, scorpions, snakes, all became greater threats. People stayed close to family whenever possible. Inside, a mother tells stories about gods, spirits, and monsters. Ancient Egypt possessed countless myths explaining the world. One myth involved the sun god. Egyptians believed he traveled the sky by day before descending into the underworld each night. There, he battled forces of chaos. Every sunrise represented victory. Sunrise was proof the universe still survived. Somewhere nearby, music begins playing softly. Simple instruments, drums, flutes, stringed harps. Music existed everywhere. Religious festivals, funerals, celebrations, even laborers sang while working. Rhythm helped make difficult tasks slightly easier. Further ahead, torchlight flickers near a temple entrance. Temples were centers of economy, politics, and power. Priests controlled wealth, farmland, and vast grain. Ordinary citizens entered only outer sections. Inner chambers remained restricted. Only priests approached certain statues. Inside, they performed rituals, washing divine statues, offering food, speaking prayers. Egyptians believed the gods lived within these temples, literally. The survival of society depended upon maintaining divine order. You watch priests moving through torchlit halls. Their linen garments appear bright. The atmosphere feels calm and strangely heavy. Outside, ordinary life continues. A man argues with a merchant over grain prices. Workers carry baskets of fish. A tired donkey collapses in the dirt. Life here is beautiful sometimes, but exhausting. Average life expectancy was far lower than today. Disease spread easily. Medical knowledge was limited. Childbirth was dangerous. Many children never reached adulthood. Despite hardship, Egyptian civilization survived for thousands of years, longer than most empires in history. Generation after generation adapted to the rhythm of the Nile. Flood season, planting season, harvest season, again and again. As night deepens, the city grows quieter, not silent. Dogs still bark. Water laps against wooden boats. Insects hum near the river. Most people prepare for sleep. Tomorrow will bring another difficult day. You walk toward the edge of the Nile. Moonlight reflects across the water. It feels peaceful, almost timeless. For all its pyramids, most lives here were ordinary. Farmers, fishermen, bakers, children, workers carrying water through dusty streets, people worrying about food, taxes, and the future. Very human worries, not so different from today. As the warm night air drifts, the ancient city slowly settles into darkness. The temples remain watching. The stars remain burning overhead. And somewhere beyond the horizon, tomorrow's sun prepares to rise.
The sun rises early over ancient Egypt, long before the streets become crowded, long before merchants begin shouting across the markets. The city is already waking. Soft orange light spreads slowly across the Nile. Birds move through the reeds near the riverbanks. Somewhere in the distance, a donkey cries into the morning air. And inside thousands of mud brick homes, ordinary people begin another exhausting day. Most Egyptians wake with the sun. Not because they want to, but because life here demands constant work. The heat becomes unbearable later in the day. So many tasks must begin early. Inside a small home, a family slowly rises from woven sleeping mats. The room is cramped. The air feels warm already. Mud brick walls trap yesterday's heat. A small oil lamp still flickers weakly in one corner. The father stretches carefully after sleeping on the hard floor. Beside him, 2 children remain half asleep beneath simple linen cloth. There are no soft beds here. No pillows stuffed with feathers. No glass windows. No cooling breeze from machines. Only thick walls, rough floors, and the constant presence of dust. Dust settles everywhere in ancient Egypt. On furniture, on skin, on clothing. The mother of the household is already awake. In many Egyptian homes, women work longer hours than almost anyone else, grinding grain, baking bread, carrying water, preparing meals, raising children. The work never truly ends. Near the center of the room sits a grinding stone, heavy, worn smooth. The woman kneels and begins crushing grain into flour. This process takes hours every day. Many ancient Egyptian skeletons show signs of worn knees, damaged backs, and painful joints caused by labor. Even bread itself creates problems. Tiny grains of sand often mix into flour. Over many years, this slowly destroys people's teeth. Archaeologists studying Egyptian mummies discovered severe dental damage. Many adults lived with constant pain, tooth infections, and abscesses. The children finally wake fully. Already the streets grow busier. Farm workers carrying tools, women balancing jars on their heads. A group of laborers walks together toward a construction site. Some are building walls, others working on temples belonging to the gods. Construction never truly stops. Powerful rulers build monuments to demonstrate strength, and those monuments require enormous labor. For poorer families, survival depends entirely on physical work. If someone becomes injured or sick, the entire household suffers immediately. Inside the house, breakfast is simple. Bread, beer, maybe onions or dates. Beer in ancient Egypt is thick and cloudy like liquid bread. Fresh, clean water is not always safe, especially in crowded cities. Beer becomes one of the safest drinks available. Outside, sunlight grows brighter. Egyptian clothing remains light. Most ordinary citizens wear simple linen garments designed for survival beneath the burning sun. Appearance matters greatly. Cleanliness matters too. Many bathe frequently. Dark eye makeup called kohl becomes extremely common. Kohl helps protect eyes from sunlight and infection. Even children sometimes wear it. The family leaves their home one by one. The streets are narrow, partly because shade is valuable. Buildings stand close together to block the harsh sunlight. At the market, merchants arrange goods, vegetables, fish, clay pots. Wood is expensive because few trees grow naturally along the Nile. You notice something else while moving through the market. Cats everywhere. Ancient Egyptians admire cats enormously. Nearby, scribes sit recording transactions. Most ordinary citizens cannot read or write, but scribes possess enormous importance. A skilled scribe may avoid brutal physical labor entirely. Writing offers status, stability, and power. Taxes especially require endless records. As the morning continues, heat waves shimmer. Workers pause to wipe sweat. Shade becomes precious. The sun dominates everything here. History often remembers only the pharaohs, the monuments, the tombs, not the countless workers whose bodies built them. Those ordinary people disappear from history easily. But they were Egypt. Without them, nothing else could exist. Hours later, the sun finally begins descending. The city breathes again. Cooking fires appear across rooftops. Dinner is modest. Bread, fish, a few vegetables. No enormous feast, only survival. And still there are moments of peace. The father watches stars slowly appearing overhead. Ancient Egyptians spend much of life exhausted, but they also laugh, celebrate, tell stories. As darkness deepens, oil lamps flicker softly inside mud brick homes. The Nile reflects silver moonlight once again. In ancient Egypt, hunger is never very far away. Even during good years, even when the Nile floods properly, even when the markets appear full. Most families live only a short distance from disaster. One failed harvest, one illness, one unexpected tax, and survival suddenly becomes uncertain. As dawn slowly spreads across the Nile once again, the markets begin preparing for another day. Before sunrise, fishermen already move across dark waters in narrow wooden boats. Some use nets, others use spears. The Nile is filled with life: perch, catfish, tilapia. Fish become one of the most important sources of protein for ordinary Egyptians, especially for the poor. The river feeds almost everyone. Without it, Egypt would become desert within days. Along muddy riverbanks, farmers guide cattle through wet soil left behind by the annual flood. The black earth feels rich beneath their feet, perfect for growing grain. Ancient Egyptians depend heavily on emmer wheat and barley. These crops become bread, beer, the foundation of survival itself. Every year, nearly the entire civilization waits anxiously for the Nile flood. If the waters rise too little, crops fail. If they rise too much, homes and farmland are destroyed. Too little water brings famine. Too much water brings chaos. The river controls everything, and because people cannot control the river, religion becomes deeply connected to farming. Many Egyptians pray constantly for proper floods. Priests perform ceremonies asking the gods for balance. A stable Nile means life. An unstable Nile means suffering. Inside the city market, merchants begin arranging food carefully across wooden tables and woven mats. The air already smells different here. Fresh bread, fish, garlic, onions, dates, herbs. Smoke from cooking fires drifts slowly upward into the warming sky. For a moment, the market almost feels welcoming. But food in ancient Egypt is not evenly shared. The wealthy eat very differently from the poor. Rich nobles enjoy beef, wine, cakes sweetened with honey, imported oils, roasted birds, and expensive fruits. Ordinary workers survive mostly on bread and beer. Again, and again, and again. Bread becomes nearly every meal. Morning, midday, night. Different shapes, different textures, but always bread. Bakers work before sunrise because ovens become unbearable later in the day. Inside one bakery, several workers knead dough beside clay ovens glowing with heat. Sweat runs down their faces. Ash covers their arms. The work is relentless. Bread making in ancient Egypt requires enormous effort. First, the grain must be harvested, then crushed into flour using grinding stones, then mixed by hand, then baked carefully over intense heat. Every loaf represents hours of labor. Even children help constantly. A young boy carries sacks of grain almost half his size through the crowded streets. Nearby, his sister balances jars of beer carefully while following her mother through the market. Children in ancient Egypt grow up quickly. Most begin working at very young ages. Life leaves little room for extended childhood. At another corner of the market, butchers cut strips of meat beneath buzzing clouds of flies. Meat spoils quickly in Egyptian heat. Without refrigeration, food preservation becomes essential. Fish are salted and dried. Grain is stored carefully in large containers. Dates and figs are preserved whenever possible. Still, many foods rot rapidly beneath the burning climate. Food poisoning is common. So are stomach illnesses. Disease moves easily through crowded cities. And because medical knowledge remains limited, even small sicknesses can become deadly. A woman argues loudly with a grain merchant nearby. The price has increased again. Poor harvest rumors spread quickly through Egyptian cities. People become nervous whenever grain supplies appear uncertain. Because hunger in the ancient world is terrifying, not temporary discomfort. Real starvation, real desperation. Parents watching children weaken slowly. Entire villages collapsing after years of failed floods. Ancient Egyptian records describe famine periods where people steal food simply to survive. Some even rob tombs searching for valuables to trade. Order becomes fragile when hunger spreads. The government understands this very well. That is why grain storage matters so much. Huge granaries stand near temples and government buildings. Officials carefully record supplies. Scribes count sacks endlessly. The state attempts to control food distribution because stability depends on it. Bread is political. Beer is political. Food keeps society alive. Near the center of the market, A wealthy official passes through surrounded by servants. His linen clothing appears almost pure white. Gold jewelry shines against his skin. A servant shades him using a large fan made from feathers. Nearby workers glance briefly before returning to labor. Social classes in Egypt are extremely visible. The wealthy live comfortably compared to ordinary citizens. Larger homes, better food, cleaner conditions, more protection from heat. Meanwhile, poor families struggle daily for survival. And yet most people accept this structure as natural. Pharaoh stands at the top of society, believed by many to possess divine authority. Below him come priests, nobles, scribes, soldiers, craftsmen, laborers, farmers. Everyone has a place, at least according to Egyptian belief. Whether life actually feels fair to ordinary workers is another question entirely. As the day grows hotter, the market becomes louder. Donkeys push through crowded pathways carrying baskets of vegetables. Merchants shout prices. Children weave between adults. A storyteller gathers listeners beneath shaded cloth. He speaks dramatically about ancient gods battling monsters in the underworld. For a few moments, tired workers pause to listen. Stories matter deeply in hard lives. They provide escape, meaning, entertainment beneath difficult conditions. Music drifts faintly from somewhere deeper in the city. A flute, a drum. Simple rhythms carried through warm air. Ancient Egyptian markets are not silent places. They pulse constantly with movement and noise. And yet beneath all this activity, anxiety remains hidden everywhere. Will the harvest succeed this year? Will taxes rise again? Will illness strike the household? Will there be enough food next month? Most families never feel completely secure. As afternoon approaches, sunlight becomes blinding. The stones beneath your feet radiate heat upward. Workers wrap cloth around their heads for protection. Even breathing feels heavier now. A water seller moves slowly through the market carrying large jars suspended from wooden poles. People gather quickly around him. Hydration becomes survival beneath Egyptian summers. Nearby, a group of laborers sits together eating their midday meal. Bread, beer, onions. One laughs weakly at a joke before exhaustion returns to his face. Their hands appear rough and cracked from constant labor. Their bodies lean from years of difficult work. History rarely remembers these men, but they built the civilization tourists admire thousands of years later. The temples, the walls, the tombs, the roads, all created by ordinary workers enduring unimaginable heat. As evening finally begins cooling the city, the market slowly changes again. Torches appear, cooking fires brighten. The harshness of midday fades into softer golden light. Families purchase final supplies before returning home. Some carry fish wrapped in cloth, others small baskets of grain. A mother carefully counts remaining bread pieces while walking beside her children. Nothing can be wasted. Not here. Not in a world where survival depends so completely upon preparation. Along the Nile itself, fishermen return with the day's final catch. Birds circle above the water searching for scraps. The river glows orange beneath the setting sun. Beautiful, calm, almost peaceful enough to hide how difficult life truly is. But ancient Egypt survives because its people adapt constantly. They learn the river, respect the flood, work beneath the heat, store grain carefully, endure hunger when necessary, generation after generation, century after century. And as darkness slowly settles across the city once more, cooking smells drift through narrow streets, while families gather together inside mud brick homes. Another day has passed beside the Nile. Another day survived in the Black Land. Before the sun rises over ancient Egypt, many workers are already awake. The city still rests in darkness. Most homes remain silent, only distant dogs, insects near the Nile, and the quiet sound of sandals against dirt roads break the night air. But for laborers, the day begins early, very early, because once the Egyptian sun climbs fully into the sky, work becomes almost unbearable. Along the edge of the city, groups of men gather slowly beneath torchlight. Some carry ropes over their shoulders, others hold wooden tools worn smooth from years of use. A few eat pieces of hard bread before beginning the long walk. Their bodies move with the exhaustion of people who never fully recover from yesterday's labor. Ancient Egypt is constantly building. Temples, walls, granaries, tombs, statues, canals, roads. Something always needs repair. Something always needs carrying. And nearly all of it depends upon human muscle. No engines, no machines, only ropes, sleds, wooden levers, and enormous numbers of workers. As dawn slowly brightens the eastern horizon, the labor crews leave the city. Dust rises beneath their feet. The Nile glows softly nearby. And ahead of them, towering against the growing sunlight, stands a massive temple still under construction. The scale feels almost impossible. Huge stone columns, walls covered in carvings. From far away, these monuments appear eternal, perfect, powerful, but up close, they are places of endless noise and labor, hammering echoes constantly through the air. Stone scrapes against stone. Foremen shout instructions. Workers strain against heavy ropes while dragging massive blocks across the ground. Everything here requires effort. A team of laborers leans forward together, pulling a limestone block mounted on a wooden sled. Their feet slide through sand darkened with water. Sweat pours down their skin despite the early hour. One man chants rhythmically to keep everyone moving together. Others join him. The sound rises and falls across the worksite like a slow, exhausted song. Ancient labor is often synchronized through rhythm. Songs help workers maintain timing, help distract from pain, help create unity during impossible tasks. Still, injuries are common, very common. Broken bones, crushed limbs, damaged backs, heat exhaustion. Workers live with constant physical risk. Archaeologists studying ancient skeletons often discover severe wear, spines compressed from heavy loads, arthritis in knees and shoulders. The monuments of Egypt are beautiful, but they are built through suffering. Nearby, skilled stone carvers kneel beside temple walls. These carvings are not random decoration. Every image carries meaning. Gods, kings, victories, religious ceremonies, offerings to divine beings. One young apprentice watches his teacher closely while learning how to carve hieroglyphs properly. Becoming a skilled craftsman takes years. By mid-morning, sunlight already burns against exposed skin. Workers wrap linen cloth around their heads. Water carriers move constantly. Without steady water, men collapse quickly. And yet work rarely stops. Deadlines matter. Powerful officials demand progress. Pharaoh demands monuments worthy of divine authority. The state always wants more. Bigger temples, larger statues, greater displays of power. Monuments are political as much as religious. They demonstrate control, strength, stability. A ruler appears powerful to both citizens and enemies. At another section, mud brick makers work near shallow pits beside the river. They mix mud, straw, and water using bare feet. The thick mixture is packed into wooden molds and left drying beneath the sun. Mud bricks form the foundation of most Egyptian buildings. The poor build with mud. The gods and kings build with stone. Not far away, women prepare food for labor crews. Huge baskets of bread sit beside jars of beer and onions. Workers pause briefly to eat. Most meals are simple. Bread again, beer again. One older laborer sits quietly rubbing his knees while younger men joke nearby. His body has carried stone for decades. Stopping work is dangerous. Without labor, there is no food. Many workers live close to starvation whenever projects end or harvests fail. A nearby official walks through the site recording supplies using papyrus sheets. Scribes appear everywhere important in Egypt. They measure stone deliveries, track food rations, record worker attendance. Writing gives the state control over enormous projects. The official pauses beside a foreman arguing about missing tools. Even ancient construction sites suffer from theft. Copper tools are valuable. As the sun reaches midday, the worksite becomes almost unbearable. Heat radiates upward from stone surfaces. The air itself feels heavy. Some workers retreat briefly into shaded areas, while others continue under direct sunlight. Sweat darkens linen clothing. Dust clings to skin. And still the temple rises little by little, day after day, year after year. Some monuments require decades to complete, meaning many workers spend their entire lives building structures they will never see finished. There is something strangely haunting about that. To devote your body completely to a project larger than yourself, a monument for gods, or kings, or eternity, while your own name disappears from history forever. As afternoon slowly passes, the shadows finally begin growing longer. The worst heat fades slightly. Workers become more talkative now. Exhausted laughter drifts through the site. Someone tells a story about a drunken fisherman falling into the Nile. Others laugh harder than the joke deserves. Sometimes people laugh simply because they are tired. Near the entrance, priests arrive carrying incense and sacred objects. Building a temple is itself considered holy labor. Workers may believe the gods truly watch over the site, perhaps even judge their effort. As evening approaches, the crews finally begin preparing to leave. Tools are stacked carefully. Half-finished carvings remain frozen in stone. The massive temple stands silent beneath orange sunlight, still incomplete, still demanding more labor tomorrow. And the day after that, the workers walk slowly back toward the city, feet dragging through dust, bodies aching. Some carry leftover bread for their families. The Nile reflects the colors of sunset beside them, beautiful gold and deep orange shimmering across dark water. For a few moments, the world feels peaceful again. But everyone knows tomorrow will arrive quickly. Another sunrise. Another day beneath the burning Egyptian sky. Another day hauling stone for monuments meant to outlive them all. And as darkness slowly settles once more, the unfinished temple waits quietly in the distance, still rising, still hungry for labor, still reaching toward eternity.